Discovered, 50 bikers unite in touching rescue of disabled girl bullied at Santa Monica Pier. Lily stood at the Santa Monica Pier, the warm breeze tousling her hair, the sound of waves crashing against the rocks just behind her. But beneath the glow of the setting sun, her heart felt heavy. The laughter of children all around her was drowned out by the cruel taunts that echoed in her mind. She could feel the weight of the world on her shoulders, her dreams of independence crushed beneath the relentless bullying at school and online. Each day, it was a little harder to summon her infectious laughter, a little tougher to keep that spirited light burning inside. Then, it happened. A group of bullies circled around her, their laughter sharp and cutting. "Look at her. Can't even walk straight." Their words stung, and Lily could feel tears prick at the corners of her eyes. She wanted to run, to escape, but the crowd's gaze felt like chains around her heart, holding her in place. Just then, an engine roared in the distance. The rumble grew louder, and as if summoned by her hopes, a massive line of bikers rolled onto the pier. 50 strong, their leather jackets glimmered like armor in the golden sunset. They weren't just bikers, they were a family, known around Santa Monica for their kindness and charity work. Eyes wide, Lily watched as they pulled up in a dramatic formation, their engines cutting off in perfect unison. The laughter of the crowd faded to a hushed awe as the bikers dismounted. Lily felt a spark of hope. They marched toward the bullies with an energy that felt like pure courage. Their presence radiated strength and compassion. One of them stepped forward, his voice booming, "Hey, enough of this. We don't tolerate bullying here." At that moment, Lily's father, a devoted veteran with a heart full of love for his family, forced his shoulders back and stood tall. He wrestled with feelings of inadequacy his whole life, but here, witnessing this heroic stand, something awakened in him. The bikers were not just protecting his daughter, they were igniting a fire within him too. Amid the tension, the bikers turned toward Lily. They knelt down, looking her in the eye. "We want to honor you," one biker said, his voice gentle yet powerful. "Next charity ride? It's for you." A cheer rose from the crowd, a wave of support that washed over her like sunlight. "Before we continue, I need to let you know about something important that's happening. YouTube has been making changes to the system and many people are losing notifications from channels they follow. If you're enjoying the content, hit that bell and mark all notifications so you don't miss the next videos. And if you can drop a like, it really helps me with reach. Seriously, it makes a difference. Oh, let me know in the comments where you're watching from. I'm always curious to know who's on the other side of the screen. Now let's continue. Optimism stirred within her, yet amidst the warmth of this moment, deeper issues began to surface: economics, social prejudices, the barriers that could not so easily be broken. The bikers were more than just heroes, they were now allies in a fight for justice that highlighted the cracks within their community. As the festival carried on around them, laughter resonated beneath the stars. But for Lily, an unyielding question remained: could this beautiful bond forged on that summer evening truly mend what was broken, or would they face even harsher realities ahead? The winds of change swirled like the ocean waves beside her, whispering promises of hope, but the journey was only just beginning. The next day, sunlight spilled through Lily's window, warming her skin and stirring her awake. She squinted at the bright rays filtering through the curtains, her heart still fluttering from the night before. The cheers of support echoed in her mind, a stark contrast to the taunts that had haunted her days. With a sense of purpose, she swung her legs over the side of the bed. Today felt different, though the heaviness of the world still lingered. She pulled on a favorite hoodie, a bright shade of blue that reminded her of the ocean, and made her way downstairs. The kitchen smelled of pancakes, and her dad was at the stove, flipping them with a smile that made her heart swell. "Morning, superstar." He grinned, his apron waved like a victory flag. "Hey, Dad." She slid into her chair, something inside unfolding like a flower ready to bloom. The warmth in his eyes gave her the courage she needed. "Do you think the bikers will really go through with the ride?" "Absolutely," he said, eyes sparkling. "They're committed. They'll do anything to stand by you. She dug into her pancake, but her mind was racing. Could she actually face the world differently now that the bikers and her dad stood with her? What if the support she felt wasn't just fleeting? Later that day, her phone buzzed, the screen lighting up with a message from one of the bikers, Alex. "Hey Lily, meeting at the cafe later. We want to plan the charity ride together. Hope to see you there." Excitement bubbled within her. She quickly texted back, "I'd love to. See you then." When she arrived at the cafe, the familiar roar of engines filled the air, and she spotted the bikers gathered at a long table. Their laughter rang out and enveloped her like a warm blanket. As she approached, they turned, smiles breaking out across their faces. "Lily! You made it!" One biker shouted, waving her over. She felt a rush of belonging as they pulled out a chair just for her. They began to outline their plan, discussing every detail of the charity ride, a sense of hope swirling around the table. Lily listened, her heart racing with every word. They wanted to raise awareness, to break the cycle of bullying, to spark change. "Why don't you share your story?" Alex said, encouraging her with a nod. "People need to hear it." Her heart thudded loudly in her chest. What if they don't care? She whispered, the fear creeping back in. "They will," another biker replied softly. "You have the power to inspire. I've seen it." With those words, something shifted inside her. She took a deep breath, the air filling her lungs with freedom. "Okay. I'll try." As she opened up, speaking her truth, she could see their faces soften. There was understanding in their eyes, empathy nestled in each nod. Transformation swept through her spirit. This wasn't just a charity ride, it was so much more. But as she poured out her heart, a shadow of doubt crept back in. Was she strong enough to handle the realities that came after sharing her story? As she wrestled with her emotions, a siren blared in the distance, pulling her back to the present. When the meeting ended, there was a newfound spark inside her, but her head swirled with uncertainties. Could she rise above the shadows that had long defined her? As she left, an unexpected encounter awaited her. A figure stepped forward from the crowd, a familiar face she never wanted to see again. What would she do when faced with someone from her past? Would the courage she found fade away? Lily's heart raced as recognition settled in. There, in front of her, stood the boy who had once made her life a battleground. Jake. The sneer on his face twisted her stomach in knots. She felt the warmth of the cafe retreat, replaced by a chill that settled in her bones. "Look who it is," he said, his voice dripping with mockery. "The little hero. You think you can change anything?" Lily's breath hitched. The confidence she had felt just moments ago threatened to evaporate. Memories flooded her mind, each snicker, each unkind word slicing through her like glass. But the bikers were nearby, their laughter and camaraderie wrapping her in a protective cocoon. "Lily, don't let him get to you," Alex said quietly, stepping forward, his eyes fierce. "You're stronger than this." With the bikers at her side, she felt a flicker of resolve. But Jake's presence was like a shadow, lurking and heavy. "What do you want, Jake?" she bit back, her voice steadier than she felt. "I just came to see the freak who thinks she can fit in," he replied, smirking. "A charity ride? Really? As if anyone cares." "Maybe they do," Lily shot back, feeling the rush of her words. "Maybe it's not about fitting in, but about standing up." There was a fire igniting in her, a blend of fear and determination. She could see him falter, if only for a moment. Jake glanced around, noticing the bikers. The image of a group of confident, powerful people standing behind Lily seemed to concern him. "Whatever. You'll see. It'll never change," he muttered, stepping back, but his words hung in the air, a heavy fog that threatened to suffocate her spirit. As he turned to leave, she called after him, her voice trembling but firm. "You don't know me. You don't know what I'm capable of." The cafe around her fell silent, all eyes on the two of them, waiting for the fallout. Jake paused for a heartbeat, and then laughed. "Good luck with that," he sneered, before disappearing into the throng outside. Lily's heart raced. Adrenaline surged through her, mingling with an unexpected rush of power. It was strange to feel both scared and free. The bikers stood around her, expressions shifting from concern to respect. "Lily, that was brave," Alex said, pride shining in his eyes. "You stood up for yourself. Not everyone can do that. You just took a step towards your own power." "I was terrified," she confessed, voice barely above a whisper, the weight of the encounter crashing down. Tears pricked her eyes. Not from fear, but from the release. For too long, she had been the girl who was pushed around. Now, she was beginning to claim a different story. Still buzzing from the moment, she realized the truth: she couldn't change her past, but she could shape her future. The way forward was still foggy, but the light ahead was there, illuminating her path. As the bikers gathered around her, their energy lifting her spirit, she felt hope rise like the tide. It filled her up, surging through her veins. But a question lingered in her mind. Could she hold on to this feeling against the shadows of her past? What other truths was she hiding from herself that needed to surface? Suddenly, her phone buzzed in her pocket. Another message from Alex popped up. "Lily, we're meeting to finalize the ride details tomorrow. You in?" She was about to respond when her mind drifted back to Jake. A looming weight returned, and doubt wormed its way in. Could she face him again? Was she ready for whatever could come next? As she looked around at the bikers, she saw not just support, but a chance for personal growth. Would she seize this moment? Would she truly rise? The air hummed with anticipation, and she took a deep breath. Her heart pounded as she pondered what the next day would bring. The next morning, the sun streamed through Lily's window, painting golden patterns across her room. She blinked awake, her heart still pulsing from the events of yesterday. The echoes of Jake's mocking laughter haunted her, but they slipped further away as she remembered the warmth of the bikers around her. She sat up, wrapping her arms around her knees, contemplating the day ahead. After tossing on a comfortable hoodie and jeans, she grabbed her phone and stared at the message from Alex. "You in?" It was a simple question, but it felt like a lifeline. Did she want to be part of something bigger? Did she want to open herself up to vulnerability again? She took a deep breath, typing, "I'm in." As she hit send, a flicker of excitement danced in her chest, quickly mingling with nerves. The cafe was a flurry of activity when she arrived. Bikers were bustling about, laughing and sharing stories, the scent of coffee and pastries hanging in the air. Alex spotted her and waved, his face lighting up as she approached. "You made it!" he exclaimed, stepping forward to greet her with a quick hug. "Wouldn't he miss it," she smiled, feeling a surge of warmth as the familiar camaraderie enveloped her. "Let's grab a seat and go over the route," he said, leading her to a corner table. They settled in, and she pulled out her notepad, feeling a surge of purpose as they discussed details. But every now and then, her mind would drift to Jake, wondering what he might say if he saw her today. "Riders are excited, Lily. You're really bringing everyone together," Alex said, breaking her thoughts. "It's your ride, after all." Her heart raced a little at those words. Was it really hers? She had been so caught up in the fear of facing Jake again that she hadn't let herself see how much she had grown. This was a test, not just of courage against him, but of believing in herself. As the meeting wrapped up, Alex stood and joined the other bikers, leaving Lily to reflect on the plans they had made. Their mission brandished a kind of power, a beautiful force fueled by unity. She couldn't help but smile as she envisioned the event: a sea of leather and chrome, ringing with laughter, raising funds for those who needed hope. Then she felt a shadow fall over her. Lily looked up to see Jake standing there, arms crossed, eyebrow raised, mocking confidence radiating from him as he took in the scene. "Back with your biker friends, huh? You're not gonna change anything, Lily." Her pulse quickened. The crowd was lively but seemed to shrink around them as his words hit her like ice water. The laughter faded, and all eyes were suddenly on her waiting, expecting. "Do you really think I can't?" she replied, separating herself from the table, standing tall despite the tightening in her chest. "This is about so much more than you think. Right? You're just a girl playing dress-up. This could never change anything." In that moment, all the confusion and doubt boiled to the surface, and she contemplated screaming at him or running away. But instead, she remembered the conversations, the laughter of her newfound friends, the purpose behind it, all, the people who needed this ride. And more importantly, she knew she was capable of standing her ground. "I'm not the same girl you used to bulldoze," she said, her voice steady. "This isn't just a ride for me. It's a chance for others to see they're not alone." Jake scoffed, but there was something in his eyes, doubt perhaps, that made her heart race, blurring the lines between fear and freedom. "What happens if you fail? How will you feel?" he asked, his voice colder, almost a challenge. The world around them felt silent, and she held his gaze. "I'll feel like I tried." With that, the tension shifted, the laughter faded, and the bikers watched. Could she really prove Jake wrong? Would her determination be enough to overcome the burden of her past? As Jake turned to leave, a question lingered in her mind. What if he was right? But just for a second, she felt an inkling of something else. What if she was stronger than he could ever imagine? The cafe buzzed back to life around her, but her resolve had been set. Tomorrow would bring new challenges, and she would meet them head-on. With her heart in her throat, she felt her phone buzz. Another message from Alex flashed on the screen. "Lily, you ready for this? We need you." As she typed back, a weight lifted. Yes, she was ready, but what would it truly mean to embrace that readiness? The next day dawned with a crisp, clear sky, the kind that seemed to promise new beginnings. Lily stood in front of the mirror, adjusting the collar of her leather jacket. The jacket felt like armor. It had belonged to her father, a reminder of the strength he always believed she possessed. Today, it was her turn to embody that strength. She grabbed her phone, her pulse racing as she saw Alex's name flash across the screen again. "Let's meet at the pier. Bikers are gathering to prep. Bring your spirit." The word sent a spark of energy through her. When she arrived, the pier was alive with the hum of engines and laughter. Riders were checking their bikes, sharing stories, and pitching in to set up tables. There was an almost palpable sense of excitement in the air. Lily pushed down the trepidation swelling in her chest. This was it. This was why she had pushed herself out of her comfort zone. "Hey, superstar." Alex beamed as he jogged over, his face aglow. "You look ready to conquer the world." "Thanks, just trying to channel some biker energy," she replied, tucking a loose strand of hair behind her ear. The sound of revving engines filled the air, and Lily felt herself melt into the camaraderie of it all. They gathered around to finalize their ride details. She noticed that many of the riders were wearing shirts displaying slogans of unity and strength. It was more than just a ride, it was a movement, a community built on shared pain and healing. "Okay, here's the plan," Alex said, standing in the center, commanding everyone's attention. "We're not just going for a ride. We're raising awareness about bullying. Every city we roll through, let us make noise, let us speak up for those who feel like they can't." His words struck a chord in Lily. She couldn't help but think of the kids back home, the ones who felt as lost and alone as she had. As the group ready to mount their bikes, Lily felt a pull of nerves. What if Jake showed up? What if he tried to belittle her again? But she shook it off. This was bigger than him. This was about children who needed hope and support. When they finally set off, the roar of engines echoed against the ocean waves, like a symphony celebrating resilience. The motorcycle parade rolled down the coast, a snake of leather and chrome. Laughter and cheers mixed with the salty air. She could feel her heart soaring with every mile they traveled, but suddenly, a familiar black sedan pulled alongside the group, its tinted windows rolling down. Lily's heart dropped as she recognized Jake behind the wheel, a smirk painted across his face. Her stomach knotted, every doubt flooding back. "Look at you," he called out, voice dripping with ridicule. "How cute. Playing hero for the day. How's that gonna change anything?" The laughter of her fellow bikers rang out around her, but it felt distant. She fought a wave of anxiety crashing over her. In that moment, she had two choices: shrivel under his cruelty or stand up, remind herself of all she had fought for. Alex caught her eye, giving her a nod that screamed support. That small gesture ignited flames of courage within her. "Do you even hear yourself?" Lily shouted back, her voice stronger than she felt. "This isn't about just me. It's about everyone who feels silenced. Change doesn't happen overnight, Jake. But it starts with a single voice. And I'm not backing down." For a moment, silence hung as Jake's mocking facade flickered, revealing a hint of confusion as he realized she wasn't the same girl he once picked on. But as quick as it came, that glimpse vanished, replaced by a sneer. "Whatever helps you sleep at night, Lily. Don't get your hopes up," he spat, rolling the window back up. The wind whipped through her hair, drowning out the last remnants of his voice. In that moment, surrounded by her brothers and sisters on bikes, she felt invincible. As they continued down the coastline, a wave of power washed over her. She had taken a stand today, and it felt exhilarating. Yet, the conflicts weren't over. Tomorrow would bring more challenges, more obstacles to face. Her phone buzzed again, but this time it wasn't a message from Alex, it was a notification about the ride event. "We're trending. News outlets are catching wind of what we're doing." Excitement bubbled within her, a fresh surge of possibility. But it was also a reminder that exposure could mean vulnerability too. What if they show up? She thought anxiously, but before she could spiral into doubt, Alex's voice broke through, pulling her back to the moment. "You ready to finish what we started?" With a nod, Lily took a deep breath, filled with conviction. This was just the beginning, and she was ready to face whatever would come next. The question lingered in her mind, though: how far could this journey take her? And would she truly have what it takes to lead the charge, or would she falter when it mattered most? The sun began to dip lower in the sky, painting the horizon in hues of orange and pink as Lily and the group rolled into the next town. The energy was electric, the atmosphere brimming with purpose. As they parked their bikes, she could feel the weight of anticipation in the air. News crews had already set up, bright lights trained on her as they waited for the story to unfold. "Get ready, this is our moment," Alex shouted, rallying the bikers together. Lily's heart thundered in her chest. What if they messed up? What if the world didn't care about their message? "Hey," Alex said, stepping closer. "Look around you. This is bigger than just riding. This is about change. You've got this." His words sank deep, filling her with determination. They lined up to form a human chain along the pier, each biker holding a sign that read, "Speak up. Stand strong." As the cameras rolled, Lily stepped forward and took a deep breath. "I stand here today not just as a biker, but as someone who knows what it's like to be silenced. For everyone who has felt invisible, remember, you're not alone." Her voice shook slightly, but she pressed on. "Change starts with us, together." A murmur of agreement rippled through the crowd, followed by a thunderous applause. It felt like an anthem of hope washing over her. She felt a warmth rise in her chest, courage fueled by shared experience. Suddenly, a commotion erupted from the back of the gathering. Lily turned as she spotted a girl, perhaps 12 or 13, standing at the edge. Tears streaked her cheeks while she clutched her backpack. It was clear she was overwhelmed, a small figure in a world that felt far too big. "Hey, it's okay," Lily called softly, stepping off the walkway and walking toward her. The girl flinched at first, but her eyes held a flicker of curiosity amidst the fear. "You're safe here. What's your name?" "Emily," she whispered, her voice barely audible over the crowd. Lily knelt to Emily's level, searching for the right words. You're not alone, Emily. We've all faced our battles, but there's strength in unity. We're here to show you that you matter. Emily's gaze shifted to the sea of supportive faces behind Lily. The crowd began to chant softly, "You matter. You matter." Lily offered a gentle smile, her heart swelling with empathy. In that moment, she saw herself in Emily. The fear, the loneliness, it all rushed back. Just then, a voice cut through the chants, filled with malice. "What are you doing? You think they care?" Jake's sneer was unmistakable as he emerged from the shadows, flanked by a couple of his friends. Lily's stomach tightened. Not this again, she thought. But before fear could wrap its fingers around her, she remembered the strength in numbers. "Don't listen to him, Emily," Alex shouted, stepping forward beside her. "What do they know about strength? Look at all of us standing together right now." The bikers rallied, their voices mixing into a powerful roar. "You matter. You matter." Emily looked up at Lily, her wide eyes reflecting confusion and hope. But, what if he's right? Lily felt the weight of that question pressing down on her. "You know what? I once thought I wasn't strong enough either," she admitted, her voice steady. "But I learned that who we are matters more than what we face. And today, we choose to stand tall together. We won't let anyone tear us down." The atmosphere shifted, and for a brief moment, it felt as if the world had paused. Emily nodded, the corners of her lips lifting ever so slightly. Okay. Just then, the sound of a bike revving echoed near the barricade. Lily turned, her heart sinking as she caught sight of Jake's friends. Were they really going to escalate this? Time to show them what real strength looks like. Jake shouted, climbing onto the hood of a parked car. His intention was clear, to provoke a spectacle that overshadowed their message. Lily felt her breath catch. This was it. Would they back down, or would they rise above it all? "Are we ready?" Alex's voice rang out again, filled with fire. The bikers shifted, their faces resolute, ready to take a stand. Lily squared her shoulders, meeting Emily's gaze once more. If they could harness this moment, it could mean everything. Let us show them what it means to unite. The chant began to swell again, growing louder. But would they truly be able to hold their ground against the storm? The next step could either solidify their message or unravel everything they fought for. As the tension mounted, Lily's heart raced with anticipation. She could feel now more than ever that change was close, but so too was a new wave of struggle. Would their urgency inspire hope, or would it ignite another battle? Lily's heart pounded like a drum as Jake's laughter mixed with the roar of his engine, a harsh sound meant to cut through their moment. The energy of the crowd hung thick in the air, a tangible mixture of solidarity and fear. How could one person create so much disruption? "Stay strong," someone shouted from the back, and the collective spirit of the bikers surged like a tide. "We're with you." Suddenly, something shifted inside Lily. She glanced at Emily, whose wide eyes mirrored a blend of hope and uncertainty. "Look at us," Lily said, her voice breaking through the din. "This is who we are. We don't let anyone make us feel small." Emily nodded slowly, the firelight reflecting in her tear-stained face. "But what if they don't listen?" Her voice was quiet, barely a whisper against the backdrop of Jake's shouting. "They will," Lily replied firmly, every ounce of her determination pouring into her words. "They have to. Today we're not just speaking for ourselves, we're speaking for every single person who has ever felt pushed down." The bikers around her began to chant again, the rhythm fueling the moment. "Together. Together." Jake's bravado wavered for an instant, and a flicker of uncertainty crossed his face. He climbed down from the car, as if realizing the tide had shifted, but he quickly masked it with a renewed sneer. "You think you can change anything?" he called out, his tone dripping with sarcasm. "You're just a bunch of bikes and dreams. But the bikers stood resolute, arms linked, signs held high. We are the change. We are the dream. They shouted back, a wave of solidarity that echoed against the pier. Lily took a step forward. Hey, Jake. She called, her voice rising above the noise. You're right. It's easy to shout from the sidelines. But have you ever tried standing side by side with someone struggling? It takes real strength to lift others up. A murmur of surprise rippled through the crowd as they absorbed her words. Even Emily's expression brightened a little, curiosity peeking through her doubt. Jake's jaw tightened. He could feel the ripple of power as more people rallied to Lily's side. You think you're heroes now? He spat, digging for any weakness he could find. Maybe we are, Alex chimed in, because real strength is about connection. It's about being here for each other, not tearing each other down. He stepped closer to Lily, bringing the group in tighter, a living wall of support. The crowd roared in agreement. For every shout Jake had thrown, Lily and her crew answered with a chorus of hope. The bikers' passion ignited the evening, fueling a joy that drowned out the darkness Jake tried to sow. Suddenly, Emily dashed forward, her small frame representing bravery beyond measure. You don't scare me. She cried, standing beside Lily. I matter. I am someone. Those words spread across the crowd like wildfire, reverberating in their hearts. Lily's eyes shone with pride and surprise as the crowd echoed Emily's sentiment. Yes. You matter. We all matter. Just then, an unseen hand tightened on Jake's shoulder, and he faltered as one of his friends whispered something in his ear. The concern was evident, and for a fleeting moment, shadows of doubt played across Jake's expression. The atmosphere crackled with tension, and Lily held her breath. Would Jake throw in the towel and retreat, or would this escalate further? Could they hold their ground, anchored by hope and purpose, against the storm brewing just ahead? Stay strong. One of the bikers yelled, as the crowd swirled with energy, rising like a tidal wave ready to crash. And as the chant spiraled upwards again, Lily felt an electric thrill coursing through her. Whatever happened next could change everything, not just for Emily, but for everyone who had felt powerless. Was this the moment they'd rise above it all, or would the battle to be heard just begin? Lily's heart raced as the crowd surged around her, the energy mixing with the salty air and the teasing whispers of the waves. It was as if they were all locked in a single breath, waiting to exhale. Jake, still uncertain, glanced back over his shoulder, his expression wavering between bravado and anxiety. "Simon, man," whispered his friend, clearly unsettled by the growing intensity. "This isn't worth it." But Jake shook off the concern, unwilling to back down. "This isn't just some game," he shot back, his voice harder. "They don't get to think they can win." Lily felt a wave of sympathy for him. She glimpsed a young man struggling under the weight of expectations he never chose. Still, their struggle didn't diminish the stakes of their moment. She had faced her demons, and there was no way she would let them creep back in now. "Can you see him?" she asked Emily softly, tilting her head toward Jake. "He is scared. It's just that some people hide behind their anger." Emily squinted, her expression softening. "But why?" "Because it's easier than being real," Lily replied. "It's easier for him to mock than to feel vulnerable. But we're stronger than that. We have each other." As if on cue, another biker yelled, "Let us show him what real strength is." The chant grew louder again, filling the space between them like fireworks exploding. "Together. Together." Lily smiled, feeling the pulse of hope surging around her. She knew that strength didn't always mean aggression. Sometimes it was a quiet resolve to stand your ground, to take the punches and still refuse to crumble. "Jake!" she called again, louder this time. "You think this is just about you and me? This is for everyone who feels alone, every voice that has ever been silenced. You can't fight us all with just your fear." A ripple of surprise cascaded through the crowd. The bikers shifted as if the weight of the moment had pushed their resolve further, together creating an unbreakable bridge of support between them all. Emily, encouraged, raised her sign high. "You're not better than any of us. We're all people. We all matter." Jake's friends moved back, apprehensive. They didn't look eager to support his aggression. His confidence faltered as he glanced at them one more time. The uncertainty was palpable. Suddenly, out of nowhere, a strong voice echoed, cutting through the mounting tension. "Why can't we all just be better together?" It was Marcy, a part of their community who had always stood up against injustice. Her presence lit a spark amidst the crowd. "Exactly," Lily added, her heart swelling. "What if we united? Showed them all that this isn't just our fight, but theirs too? Imagine how powerful that would be." A chorus of approval erupted as the crowd began to chant again, each voice rising as one. The thrum of their unity sent a shiver of hope coursing through Lily, but the glint of anger hadn't fully extinguished in Jake's eyes. Instead, it shifted. A flicker of confusion mixed with a sense of loss. He opened his mouth, hesitating, searching for words that seemed to escape him. That moment felt suspended in time, a critical point where fear met clarity. Would he lash out or finally choose connection? Lily leaned forward, her heart brimming with hope. "It's not too late to join us, Jake. We can lift each other up. Together." And as she spoke those words, she felt an almost tangible bond forming with everyone around her. The energy shifted again, and the crowd's anticipation built like a drumroll, thrumming louder and stronger, charging towards an unavoidable climax. Would this moment become a bridge toward understanding or just another standoff? The resolution felt so close, but as Jake's gaze locked onto Lily's, a different question loomed in the air: what lay behind that mask he wore, and would he dare to remove it? The tension twisted through the air, thick and electric. Jake's eyes darted between Lily and the growing mass of supporters. Each second felt like an eternity, as if the world around them faded away, leaving only this pivotal clash of emotions. Lily took a breath, feeling the weight of her belief falling into their connection. "Jake," she said softly, "you can let it go. We're here for you too." Her voice wrapped around him like a warm embrace, inviting him to step into something new. For a moment, vulnerability flickered in his gaze. The anger that had fueled him began to fray at the edges. "Let them all think I'm a coward," he finally managed, his voice betraying the conflict raging within. "No!" someone shouted from the crowd. It was an older man, his gravelly voice commanding. "True strength is in admitting when you're wrong. It takes guts to change." The crowd surged with approval, clapping and shouting encouragement, waves of support crashing around Jake. He looked back to his friends, and for the first time, their hesitance seemed to mirror his own doubt. "Look at them," Lily urged gently, gesturing toward the group bearing signs and banners that echoed the shared struggle. "They're not perfect, but they're brave enough to show up and speak out. Doesn't that matter more than pride?" "You're trying to make me feel bad," Jake scoffed, but the fight left his words. "No, I'm trying to show you what freedom feels like," she responded, stepping closer. Their eyes locked again, an unspoken promise hanging in the air, life-changing and raw. A flicker of awareness glinted in Jake's eyes. He shifted his weight, uncertainty still swirling, but the fierce determination of the crowd filled the void left by his fear. Emotions warred within him. Fear of rejection clashed with a craving for belonging. From behind, a girl's voice rose above the rest, fragile yet powerful. "I used to hide, thinking I didn't belong anywhere. But together, we're here. That means something." The crowd quieted momentarily, wrapping the words in a blanket of understanding and connection. Jake inhaled sharply, like he was suddenly breathing for the first time. The eyes of the crowd felt piercing and soft at once. He was no longer just a lone spirit looking to fight, he was part of something larger. A wave of realization hit him. "I don't want to fight anymore," he finally admitted, his voice trembling as it broke through the weight of his hesitation. "I'm tired of pretending." Cheers erupted, an electric rumble that surged through the crowd, arms raised high, heart swelling with hope. Lily felt tears pricking at the corners of her eyes. This was the moment they all needed. "I just want to be here," Jake said, clenching his hands into fists but not in anger, in something like resolve. "Together." Marcy stepped forward, her voice carrying warmth and conviction. "Then be here with us, Jake. Together, we can change everything." For the first time, the barrier around his heart seemed to crack. "Okay," he whispered, barely audible but carrying the weight of 1,000 unspoken fears, but before Lily could respond, a sudden roar from the beach erupted. A faction of bikers had long dismissed their gathering and was barreling toward them. The once unified crowd now had a shadow looming over their moment. "Let us show 'em what." One of the bikers yelled, his voice laced with aggression, breaking their fragile truce. Lily's heart sank. Had they come so far only to face a different kind of fight? As the tension spiraled, Jake turned back to Lily, uncertainty darkening his features again. "What do we do now?" And as they stood amid the swirling chaos, ready to face the brewing storm, one question hung in the air: could they maintain their hard-won unity against this new threat, or would anger and fear unravel everything they had just built? Lily's heart thundered as the words hung in the air, a mix of fear and determination coursing through her veins. The bikers, those who had stood by her side, were now faced with the possibility of another fight. But this time, it felt different. Jake, who had once paraded hatred, stood on the brink of something new, his guarded expression now filled with uncertainty rather than malice. "Together," Lily said, her voice steady yet soft, "we stand together." She shot a glance at her new friends, each one nodding with trust and resolution. In the face of the approaching bikers, they linked arms, forming a wall of unity. The strength emanating from this collective brought an unexpected spark of courage. "Yeah, together." Alex echoed, stepping closer to Lily, who felt the warmth of his support pouring over her, strengthening her resolve. "This isn't about fighting, it's about showing that we believe in something bigger than ourselves." As the motorcycles revved up and the other bikers approached, the tension thickened like fog in the early morning. Lily glimpsed those faces, some were kind, others curious, but a few held the same anger that Jake had once displayed. This was the moment to show them that this ride wasn't merely about bikes, it was about acceptance. "Let us show them who we are." A biker shouted, his fists pumping the air, the camaraderie pouring like a wave, billowing through the crowd. With that adrenaline surging, Lily stepped forward, heart racing but feet steady. "Hey!" she called, her voice breaking through the din, catching their attention. The approaching bikers slowed, glancing at each other, confused. "We're not here to fight. We're here to lift each other up. We've had enough hate. We want to create a community where no one is left behind." The force of her words hit like a stone thrown into still water, creating ripples of surprise, some faces softening, caught off guard by her bravery. "Everyone deserves support, and all we want is to show solidarity. Let us choose to rise above." Another biker added, stepping beside Lily, his voice ringing with sincerity. "You can either join us or stand aside, but we won't back down." In that moment, something incredible happened. One of the bikers from the other group shifted, glancing back at Jake with uncertainty. Something stirred in the crowd, a spark of recognition spreading. The dividing lines started blurring as some began to shuffle forward, curiosity replacing animosity. "Maybe we can talk instead of shout," Jake whispered, scanning the crowd for support. Lily caught his eye, and for the first time, their shared past felt distant, as if the fog of fear was lifting. "Yes," she called, her voice now a beacon cutting through the noise. "Let us sit down and share who we are. Let us open a dialogue. Change doesn't come from fear, it comes from understanding." The tension hung heavy air filled with anticipation, before someone from the crowd uttered a small, hesitant, "Yeah. Why not?" Another voice chimed in. The polarized tension began to dissipate as they slowly moved toward each other. Lily couldn't believe it, her heart raced, adrenaline mixed with hope. Jake took a step forward, drawing nearer to the collective circle they had created, uncertainty still etched on his face but vulnerability slowly replacing the tough shell. "Together, we can make a real change," Jake murmured, looking back at Lily, searching her eyes. It wasn't just a pledge but a commitment to do better, to be heard not through cruelty, but through connection. As people began sharing their stories, the atmosphere shifted again, transforming raw anger into shared experiences and laughter. Jake revealed his past struggles of not fitting in, the pain of never truly belonging. In turn, others shared embarrassing moments from their youth, a few shedding tears while expressing joy, loss, or regret. Their voices merged into a symphony of healing and redemption. They were no longer two opposing sides trapped in a cycle of anger. Instead, they became a community illuminated by their shared humanity. Lily's heart soared as she watched their walls of division crumble, revealing hearts eager to grow. In that moment, as emotions flowed freely, Jake turned to Lily, eyes filled with appreciation. "Thank you," he said, sincerity knitting his brow together. "For believing in something when I doubted." "No, thank you for choosing to be here," she replied, a radiant smile breaking across her face. "Together, we can shift this narrative. This is just the beginning." The collective energy buzzed, and the message resonated deep. Launched by a single act of courage, the bikers' resolve to unite had transformed more than just Lily's narrative. As the sun dipped beneath the horizon, painting the sky burnt orange and deep purple, they stood as one, no longer just bikers, friends, or foes, but allies committed to paving a way for understanding. In their hearts, every single one felt it, together, they could change the world. And as they turned toward the ocean, the waves crashing rhythmically against the shore, the chant began anew. Not of war, but of unity and hope. "We matter. We matter." It echoed through the night, reminding them all that every voice could be heard and that their journeys were just beginning. Now, it's your turn. You need to subscribe now to the channel. Don't miss out on the next exclusive stories. Leave a like now to feed the algorithm and help us grow. Comment below your reactions and feelings about this ending. What did it mean to you? And share instantly this video with at least 5 friends who need to hear this transformation. Show that real fans understand the importance of supporting this channel. Don't wait not even one more second to share.